wa ta'ala comes, then you have, the job is not finished yet. You have to go now to the Banu Qurayza and deal with them for their betrayed the ahd. الذي كان بينكم, the ahd which was between you two, they have betrayed that. So this is that the Prophet ﷺ, he goes and he gathers as many Sahaba as he can. And what we need to realize, and what we need to understand, is that a lot of the Sahaba are not, they're not fully back. They're not, because the Khandaq was kind of on the outskirts. So not everybody is, some people are sleeping, some people are, tending to wounds, some people, everyone is scattered. So the Prophet ﷺ gathers as many as gets the Sahaba to gather as many people as they can, and then he makes an announcement, and he says, لا يصلن أحدكم, لا يصلن أحدكم. Right? None of you should pray except لا يصلن العصر إلا في بني قريظة أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that no one should pray Salat al-Asr until they are in Bani Qurayza, until they have reached the area of Bani Qurayza. The area of Bani Qurayza on foot is about like an hour. It's like an hour, march and whatnot. So Prophet ﷺ gave this order. Now we have to understand that the Sahaba were not all there. They are just, coming back from the trench. They are coming back from the expedition. So a group of them left immediately. Led by Ali radiallahu anhu, a group of them immediately they left. However, the second group, which was the much larger group, they left a bit later. And this second group, while they were on the way, the sun was about to set. So it was about to be Maghrib time. It was about to be Maghrib time. So this second group began to have ikhtilaf amongst themselves. They began to have ikhtilaf amongst themselves. One said that we should not pray Asr until we reach Banu Qurayza, because the Prophet ﷺ gave us an explicit order. Right? He gave us a direct order. Do not, whatever happens, make sure you pray Asr Salat in Banu Qurayza. So they interpreted it as, it doesn't matter whether we have to pray at Qadha or not. We have to be there in Banu Qurayza. The other group, they disagreed. They said no. The Prophet ﷺ meant to, he said that as an emphasis for us to hurry up. Meaning, let's get to Bani Qurayza as fast as possible. So one group, they continued on their journey, and they prayed the Asr Salat when they reached Bani Qurayza, and it was Maghrib time, actually. So they prayed the Salat. And then the other group, they stopped right there on the way, they prayed, and then they continued. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, what does he do? The Prophet ﷺ, he basically, when he hears about it, and he hears what happened with the two groups, he basically did not criticize any of the groups. And he never said, but at the same time, he never said that they were both correct. He just said, he just left it up. You guys did your ijtihad, and he left it at that. Now, a couple things that we realize from this is that there is only, when it comes to differences of opinion, and we have discussed this on Monday as well, inshallah, we'll discuss. When it comes to differences of opinion, in reality, there is only one haqq, there's only one truth. All the different mujtahids and faqids and schools of thought, they are fighting, and they are basically, what I mean by fighting is that they are trying to find, and they have paved the way in which they believe this is the correct opinion. Okay? Now the question is, okay, then that there's so much uncertainty with that. How would you carry on with that? How would you if there's only one actual truth, there's only one opinion which is correct, then what about the other opinions, right? When it comes to fiqh and these things. So the Prophet ﷺ, he addresses this in a hadith in Bukhari, an authentic hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, he says that when a a hakim, or like a person who is a faqih or a mujtahid. Mujtahid is a person who has reached such a level where they can they can basically pick and choose what is the correct opinion and what is not the correct opinion. There's different levels of scholarship as well. Not every scholar can do that actually. And like the four imams, they were mujtahids, right? And then throughout the different eras, we had our mujtahids as well. And these days, it's very rare a person is at the level of a mujtahid. You're not going to find many of them. And so the Prophet says, with this individual who has all of the expertise and is fully qualified, right? I'm paraphrasing here. What hakim means, it means the person who's fully qualified has all of the expertise. Not just a person who did a class here and there, not a person who took a few online classes, not a person who can maybe read Arabic or understand it. No. This individual has all of the expertise. And the expertise, the ulama define having expertise in all of the different categories of Islamic science. You have expertise in fiqh, you have expertise in Arabic, you have PhD in tafsir, all of that. Right? I'm just giving an example. Then the Prophet said that when that person decides something, that person, if they are correct, they'll get 2 rewards for doing the ijtihad, because at times the Quran and the Sunnah does not give us a clear answer, so we have to explain things. And if that person, he does his ijtihad, he takes an opinion, and his opinion is not mistaken, it's not the correct opinion, well, he'll get at least 1 reward for trying, because. But this goes for, but none of us sitting here, nobody here can say, well, I'm going to take this hadith. This hadith is not for the regular folk. It's for the mujtahids, for the people who are in that position, right? So, when it comes to this madhahib, yes, there is one correct answer. Everyone claims they have the correct answer. Who is going to be the 100% correct? We'll find out. This was correct, this was correct. But the ones that were not correct, it's not because they were trying to not be correct. They themselves also tried to do some interpretation. But they will still get a reward for actually being mukhlis and trying to do that interpretation. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, they reached the Battle of Qurayza, and they laid siege to Battle of Qurayza. And the thing is, we have to understand that at this time, they did not have the technology, they didn't know how to basically attack forts, catapults, and all these things came later. So the only way they wanted, in the Battle of Qurayza, they wanted themselves in their fort. So the only way to flush them out was just to lay siege. And so the Sahaba and the Prophet, they camped around the fort of Battle of Qurayza. They cut off all their supplies, they cut off all the trade that was coming to them. This lasted a month as well. So now it's 2 consecutive months they have been in this situation, right? Where they've been out, they've been away from their houses, they've been on constant alert, and they have no idea what's going to happen. They're dealing with the ahzab. Then as soon as they come back, no time to rest. Now you have to go to the Banu Qurayza, right? And you have to deal with the Banu Qurayza. So when in the beginning, they were very stubborn, and they were cursing the Prophet and everything. However, when things got tough and their supplies became scarce, then their leader, Ka'b, he said, give us, he gathered his people, and he said, there's 3 choices, there's 3 opinions, there's 3 options I can think of. The first one is, let's accept this man's religion. And this is something very, very, listen to this. He said, let's accept this man's religion, and we know at the end of the day that he is the one that was mentioned in our scriptures, right? And let's accept his religion. This man, meaning the Prophet, he does not fight anybody who accepts his religion, right? So, Islam, what does Islam do? Islam clears and cleanses everything that was before it. So, they said, no, we'll never leave our religion. We're not going to leave our religion. Why would we leave our religion? So then, the second option he gave was, okay, well, you can see our backs are against the wall. We're outnumbered. The situation's unbeatable. So let's kill our families, and then we go out and we just fight to the death. They said, how do we kill our families? Why would we do that? Right? So again, right, making excuses. Then he said, okay, third option. He said, why don't we do this? We do a surprise attack on them on our Sabbath, on Sabbath. Right? They're not going to expect it because they know that we are adherent to our Sabbath. Then they start saying, no, this is our Sabbath. Why would we? This is our Sabbath. Why would we do it? And this is where God, I said, he cursed his own people. He said, by Allah, you guys were cursed to never have one decision to have one time, right? And then what happens is that the problem that they come out and they asked, what they did is that they asked the Prophet ﷺ, they sent Abu Lubaba. Abu Lubaba is from the Aus tribe, Aus. Now, Aus tribe was one of the Arab tribes in Medina that was close to the Banu Qurayza. They used to run business dealings with them. They were on good standing with them, right before the Prophet ﷺ came. So there are a lot of people who were business partners with people from Aus. There was a good number of them who were business partners with those from Banu Qurayza. So Abu Lubaba was a prominent individual from the Aus tribe. And he had a very good relationship with the Banu Qurayza. So the Banu Qurayza, they asked the Prophet ﷺ, send him, can you please send him, and we can talk to him, right? So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, okay, fine, I'll send Abu Lubaba. He sends Abu Lubaba, and they asked Abu Lubaba, can we get the same punishment as the Banu Nadir? What was the punishment of the Banu Nadir? The punishment was that take whatever you can, the rest you leave here, and you leave. You get out of here. And Abu Lubaba said the Prophet is not going to do that. You guys really crossed the line. So then they began crying in front of him, and they began pulling on his emotional strings. At the same time, he has a good relationship with some of their leaders. So they asked him, they asked him, is he going to accept anything from us? He said no. And then they said, they said that if the Prophet, will he at least accept our surrender? So then he said, yes, he'll accept our surrender. However, Abu Lubaba is from the Badri Sahaba, but we have to understand that the Sahaba at times, them making a mistake is also a lesson for us, right? They're human beings at the end of the day. Because he felt sorry for them, he kind of gave an ishara that the Prophet was going to kill them. And he wasn't supposed to do this, right? This was not supposed to be told. This is a secret. This is confidential, right? This is a classified. Immediately he realized what he did. And he left the fort. He didn't go back to the army. He went and walked all the way back to Masjid Nabawi. And he tied himself to a pillar there. And he said, I swear by Allah, until Allah does not forgive me, Himself, Allah does not reveal something, then I will not leave this pillar. I will not leave this pillar. And this pillar today, if you go to Masjid Nabawi, it's inside of the Riyadh al-Jannah. I believe it's somewhere in that area. It's called Ustuwan al-Tawbah, right? The pillar of Tawbah, right? It's written on there actually, the pillar of Tawbah. And what you can do honestly is that if you go to Umrah, what you could do is you can sit by that pillar. You can say that, Ya Allah, the way you forgave Abu Lubaba, over here, please forgive me as well, right? Nothing wrong with that. So he tied himself. Now the Prophet tied him, and the Prophet said, if you would have just came to me and told me what happened, I would have asked Allah for you. But now he has made another, he has made a promise to Allah. And that promise has to be fulfilled. So that was up to Allah, out of my jurisdiction. This shows that the Prophet ﷺ never twisted things for his own benefit. He never twisted and played around with the deen. If there's something out of his jurisdiction, it's out of his jurisdiction, right? So, long story short, Abu Lubaba, he basically for a week he was tied there, And then finally Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed his forgiveness. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself came and he attired from there. Now, when it comes to there was an individual from the Banu Qurayza who secretly came out of the fort, and he was an individual who was vocal against his own people, and he criticized them because he said we should not betray the Prophet Muhammad, even though he wasn't a Muslim. This individual, he came, and one of the Sahaba, they grabbed him and they said, "Where are you going?" And then they found out who he was. So this Sahabi, I forgot what his name was, but he said that I was Muhammad bin Muslim. He basically said that I have to make a choice. I have to make a quick decision. What should I do? Should I leave him? Should I keep him? But he said I knew who he was, and I knew that he was not an individual that was opposed to the Prophet ﷺ. He was one of the few that wanted to keep the treaty. So I let him go. So the next morning, this individual, he disappeared. I think he ran off completely. So he went to the Prophet ﷺ, Muhammad bin Maslamah. He went to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said to the Prophet ﷺ that this is what happened. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that because of his honesty and his truthfulness and his willing to keep an agreement, as a small reward, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved his life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to escape from him. Right? For us, the lesson for us is that this is a person who did not accept Islam, from what we know. But yet he was honest, and Allah rewarded him in this way. Imagine us people who are believers in Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we are honest in our lives, we are truthful in our lives, will we not see the impact of that in this life and the Akhirah? Of course we will. Right? So, and then after that, inshallah, next week we will cover what happened after that, and we will transition also into what happens after the battle of the trench. So,